Welcome back to Racing with Jesse Rosensky. Walter's back with us on this Friday morning. I just actually had to stop and think what morning it is. We're off to a great start. Anyway, thanks for checking us out. And as you already heard my feelings about everything, I'm going to just hassle Walter for a few minutes. How do you feel about Eli Tomac beating Ricky Carmichael's Daytona win record in Supercross? I'm okay with it. Ricky was okay with it. I mean,
I think there comes a line for me personally. When I was younger, I was not on a Carmichael train. Never once, though, have I denied his skill because the guy's talented.
Super talented.
But it's nice to see somebody come out there with skill and perform and be able to break records, whether I care for somebody or not. But it was good the way everything went. And I do like the fact that Tomac is not somebody that just somehow,
just
as we've said before, that Bubba or Dillon did,
Yeah, he I will say he wasn't going to win that one if that lapped guy didn't get in front of whatever his name. Yeah. How bad do you feel? You're getting out of the leader's way, you turn around and the leader, you literally pulled directly in front of the leader and cost him his second or two lead. And then that guy, he tried to do the right thing. And when you turn around, you're son of a bitch. And what's their names? I have it somewhere. Oh yeah. And the fact that Jordan Anderson and Malcolm Stewart, Anderson got into Stewart on turn 2 on lap 1 again, second week in a row. And then, anyone that watched the race, we saw how nicely Stewart felt about that one this time around because he just drove in there. He didn't even try to turn or anything. That was just straight into him to wreck him.
Well, Ricky Carmichael,
he got him back.
Speaking of him, when he was still racing, Bubba was still racing, and I believe the third party that was involved with that was Chad Reed. And let's just say Bubba got hit twice for no reason. The third hit he was involved with was his own doings. And it was just like you said, it was like he let off of everything and just didn't, I don't care no more. I get it. Crunch.
Drove right into him. Like he's got to catch it. Like, yeah, he's catching him.
You can tell, and you can tell if you know how Bubba drives when he's going to do something like that. But if you don't really know his driving ability, or not necessarily ability, but his driving style, you're not going to catch it. But because he always comes in the corner mock heavenly. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He was
So if you don't know what you're looking for hand wise, you don't know when he's going to run into somebody because it's always the same speed coming into the corners.
Sadly, I think that was finally Stewart's weekend to actually win because he was killing it out there in Daytona. I mean, he best in practice, best in qualifying, slaughtered everyone in his heat race. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was his until he got taken out on the second turn again by the same guy. When you turn around, you're looking down. At least he didn't take off his helmet and start. I mean, I would have started clubbing the guy.
That would have been McGrath. Jerry McGrath would have done. He would hit somebody with a helmet. Brian Deegan. What was the other guy? What was Baldy's name?
Did love some Jeremy McGrath. There's a name you don't get to hear.
It'll come to me in a minute. Baldy. He was another one. What the hell was his last name? Was it Evans?
I made my brain.
No, it wasn't Evans. I'll think of his name. Anyway,
in the middle of something, and suddenly you'll be all
came to me. There were a couple people, I swear, that manufacturers would intentionally go out and look for these people and go, do me a favor. If you can get in a tussle with Bubba, that would be awesome. I really felt like for the longest time that happened. And this kind of proves my point. He comes back 2 weeks in a row. He's got hit by somebody and he's doing really good. Never fails. I think people are.
There's something, but I'm just going to leave it at there's something. So as we get out of that, and takeaways from the Cup Series, well, from all of NASCAR. I mean, Matty D got them like they now have more top tens than they had the whole entire prior season, and we're only 2-3 races in. So, I mean, good on him.
I really feel like he's going to do the same thing there he did at Wood Brothers. My only hope is that whoever the total team is involved with ownership and management for that team, and I mean everybody. I don't want to just say one or two people. I want all parties involved. Hopefully they're smart enough to think things through and go, we got something here. He's making a difference. Because they did it at Wood Brothers, and Wood Brothers, clearly somebody was woke up on the stupid side of the bed that morning because, well.
And Andy's never drove a truck before, for everyone, that forgets. He never drove in the Truck Series before. This is Matt's first time ever driving one. So, I mean, it's going to take him, and he's already doing this good. And he's only been in the thing for 10 minutes, especially with the way testing is now and everything. Like before, you could get acclimated to that, but they'll just drive thousands of miles testing. They can't do it anymore.
I should not be the one saying this, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. How long is the contract that Matty D signed for this?
I don't even remember.
Me neither, off the top of my head.
Yeah, off the top of my head.
I'm just wondering because this is the last season for Eric Amarola. And I don't see Numbskull coming up from the 98.
Please, God.
If they do that, I'm over.
They've given up.
That's going to give me problems with NASCAR as a whole if that shit starts happening because it's already happened with Matty D. They bring up somebody. Sorry, I won't go on that road. We won't go down that road.
They bring up someone that is unqualified and not properly prepared to do anything. They flounder for a year, and then they're struggling to find a ride again because they did so bad, even though they're in inferior equipment and they're not ready to do anything. There's lots of them. There's the Matty D's. There's look what they did to Priest, John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, the list.
Yep. Well, who's the other one though?
Look how bad.
It's the one Kenny Schrader always talked about.
No, look what they did to Suarez. Look what they did to Logano. I mean, except they were lucky enough to get have friends.
It was Ryan Priest.
Yeah. Now he's driving a limited truck schedule, and he's a reserve driver like that. But Ty Dillon has a.
We won't.
Dillon has it, and as we're on him,
I will say though, it is a good step in the right direction for Ryan Priest because the person he's being a reserve driver for Stuart Haas, and I'm hoping that this year is going to be different. One for Stuart Haas, but two, I'm not going to go into it. But this weekend is Phoenix. We'll just put it there.
But again, if we talked about teammates, though, I will give I'll give I don't normally do it, but I'll give Bubba credit this time because I mean at least last weekend Kurt was up there around 10th and Bubba was there 15th. I mean, so they were at least near each other this week. So I mean, maybe that was a car thing, a setup thing, who knows, but at least they were in the same ballpark, unlike Eric Jones, who was out there going leading laps and running up front until he had the tire issue, with Ty Dillon getting run over and lapped because, well, guess what? Same equipment, you have no excuses.
Well, I was going to say, for the good thing for Bubba, as long as he keeps his mouth shut and his head straight, this new teammate is somebody that literally could change his career. The talent he brings to the plate is definitely able to change Bubba's career.
Yeah, just everything that group around him is just bringing Kurt in. Like if they brought in a younger guy, it wouldn't have the same effect.
Bringing in Kurt.
That was immense. And everyone yells at me for talking trash. Like I'll never. Sorry. Once you started doing this all the time,
there is a certain person that gets mad and says, "Oh, you just hate Bubba. You just hate KB." Blah blah blah. No, I don't like certain shit. That's it. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure last week did I not give props to Kyle Busch? I felt like I gave props to Kyle Busch.
You were nice to him,
and I still got my head bit off for it.
Hey, I appreciate, Kyle, though. He does not like to come in second.
Well, my thing is if I can come out and say something positive about Kyle, that's saying something. Because normally when I don't like somebody, I really don't like them.
I'm right there, but I give him credit. I appreciate his desire.
And I still can't go over his t-shirt.
I appreciate his, if you're not first, you might as well be last. I appreciate that. Guess what? I hate losing way more than I enjoy winning.
I looked at the
except for
entry
when
list.
I play chess against you on Game Pigeon, because then I just want the game to be over.
I was looking at the racing entry list for qualifying and everything last week. KB was not on that list. Then all of a sudden, there he is racing. I'm like, you lying, mother? You sons. Anyways, okay. Anyways, so I didn't look at it this week, but assuming Kyle Busch nor Kevin Harvick driving the Xfinity Series,
Kyle's not,
and prove me wrong.
Kyle's not.
The entry list doesn't show any Cup drivers, so I don't.
Should be a good change of pace. Kyle. I mean, I'll give Kyle credit. I mean, he said he was gonna hit 100.
Well, I'm just saying, like last week, though, there was no Cup drivers in the entry list. Now all of a sudden, there's Cup drivers in the race. I'm like, you have to have your entry list in by, I think it was 10 or.
Hey, look at the people running the show.
I know. Anyways.
And I still say that Christian Eckes wrecked himself in the truck race, no matter how much trash he talked about Kyle. Like when you watch the replay coming down the straightaway, Kyle didn't move. You moved about 2 lanes down and wrecked yourself. Kyle didn't. He didn't go anywhere. So shout out to Kyle Busch one more time, because Moron wrecked himself. And, well, after he shot off at the mouth, you didn't go over and punch him in the face, because I know some people that probably would have gone and punched you. I think I'm looking at someone that would have punched you directly in the face.
Wasn't Kyle Busch's driver the one that won anyways? I mean,
hey, he's got a good team down there, and he gives.
Well, the kid that won, I want to talk about him, Chandler, or what's his name? Chandler Smith.
Yeah, Chandler Smith.
Yeah, for some reason I wasn't thinking Smith was his last name. Anyways, I watched him very closely for some reason. I don't know why, but in that race, he was really, really skilled for as young as he is. And 2, I like the fact that he came out there in one of Kyle Busch's trucks and was able to.
And outdid.
I don't know. I hate to say it, outrun him that day.
He outran Kyle.
That's no other way to run.
And that's another thing you got to give Kyle credit for, though. I mean, look at all the drivers that. I mean, he has given real opportunity.
Well, I will give him. I said this last week when we talked about the Toyota development program. He's the only one that doesn't. How do I want to say it? I don't want to use the word monopolize, but stranglehold. He's the only one from the Toyota side of it that doesn't stranglehold the industry. And I know people get mad when I say this, but Joe Gibbs strangleholds the development program, and it's not good. Yeah. I don't like it, because that means the only chance you got is if you go to Kyle Busch.
Like, look at all the. I mean, really, you can see it in the Cup Series. I mean, look at all the teams. Look at Furniture Row. Yeah, they teamed up. They started using with JGR equipment and getting all that, and they're spending so much money hand over fist. They won a championship, and Barney was like, "I'm done." Even though they almost won it, and it was last year. He's like, "What? I do the money?"
Well, it's just funny
look
because
how many Toyota teams are gone now. There's like Gibbs, maybe 2 or 3 other. I mean,
well, you got
Gibbs, you got 2311, so there's 6.
Yeah,
which are using Gibbs power.
Didn't when how do I want to phrase this? I'm pretty confident when Canassi got bought out by Trackhouse, did they not take over Chevy?
No.
Yeah, I thought so.
So, but there's like 6, maybe 7, like Toyotas all together, and they all run under the same thing. And Kyle's the only one that actually, I think, which is why it was a shame when Brad shut down his truck team too, because they were still racing for the championship and winning races that last year. Well, and that gave the other guys opportunities.
We've talked about this before when it comes to developments. Why did Harvick shut his shit down? To me, there was no feasible excuse. And if there was something, I did hear from one person that there was a kind of like a financial admin, not everything lining up at one point issue. Well, if that was the case, shut it down for a year or 2, get everything squared away, redo whatever you got to do, and come back. Like, don't quit. You don't think Kenny Schrader hasn't taken years off?
I think he will at some point.
Why
kids
wouldn't he?
Now there's kids are getting older.
Demon.
And I like the picture of him and the kids doing the air quotes, and the youngest just sitting flipping off the world. Everyone else is doing air quotes. There's his daughter. What? Watch out. What? Nah, you're not going to be like your mother at all. Air quotes, flipping everyone off. Like I'm doing it. Yeah. That's how I air quote people.
Anyways, back to what we're talking about.
He'll get it back though.
Dine struggled in that race.
Huh?
What? Kind of felt bad for him even driving that truck.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not been no Dale Earnhardt, but dang, I've seen him drive a lot better than what he did last week.
Hey, it's been a while. It's been a while.
I guess that's what happens when you don't pull a Schrader or Mark Martin and go out there and just keep running in modifieds and late models.
Hey, but overall,
is it Rusty doing that too? Wallace? He was running a partial schedule for late models, I thought.
I seen him do because he was out at was it Carteret County at the track there? Yeah, I think it was Carteret County. Like he was at that track.
Didn't they run there last year, the late model series? Twice, I thought.
I know they ran at least.
Or was that the modified series?
I know someone was down there once, but it didn't get nearly as much promotion as it normally. I didn't even see a sign. And they built the bypass now, so you don't have to drive through Maysville anymore. So you don't even get the signs as you're driving anywhere near it because it's all a big highway.
They need to promote that because that's one of the few tracks left that's doing mini cups. I know that sounds stupid to a lot of people, but I am a true believer in the mini cup series.
I sound stupid to a lot of people, so screw them.
I'm just saying, I'll point it out so people can't even say it. I do sound stupid when I say this, I'm sure, to people, but I believe that mini cups and mini sprints need to be in the racing industry to give good building bases. Like anyone that gets proficient in somewhat delivering on results in the mini sprint series or the mini cup series, you're racing a completely different type of racing, one, and two, it's a lot more challenging. Mini cup, there's no power steering, there's none of that stuff exists in mini cup. There's no power. Everything in mini cup and mini sprints is skill and physical assertion.
Good, because that was the word I was going to use too.
Do what?
That's the word I was going to use too. So that's just an ass whooping. If you're good at that, you can drive.
Exactly. I'm not saying that everybody becomes Kevin Harvick or Kyle Larson. I'm not saying that, but I've never seen anyone that wasn't good in that was good in that and then wasn't good at driving the street style. I'm sorry. Usually if you run that, you're going to be better than mediocre no matter what going into a street style, whether it be at a grassroots level, Xfinity, ARCA, whatever you want to put it in.
All of them. I agree. Yeah, but even though Larson sliked the slap walls for years, how many people did you truly see that could run that high all the time and not smack the wall every time? No, there's very few. He's figured it out since then, thank God. But yeah, takes talent. Again, like they built the bypass, so now we're not going through Maysville or anything anymore. Granted,
but the racetrack could promote that. Put a couple extra $1,000 a season in, do a little bit better promotion, maybe even do a radio ad.
That would be the big one. That would be. But
all you need to do is find one station that prominently plays Metallica and find one station that prominently plays Luke Combs and advertise on those two radio stations. That's all they would have to do.
Yeah. You just have to
because your biggest audiences are going to come from one of those two groups.
Yep.
I don't mean to be.
Hey, well, if we get stereotyped for it all the time, let it fly.
Yeah. That's where it's going to come from, is those two groups. And it's not even a skin color thing. It's just a mentality thing.
And before we get on to the NASCAR stuff for the weekend, I must say, I know you probably don't care, but F1, doing their testing. Yeah, I like F1. I don't know about you, but on day one, Ferraris were second and third, and like good old Lewis Hamilton was all the way back in 11th out of 15. In Bahrain, they start next weekend. Next weekend's a big weekend.
The first weekend is in Bahrain?
Now they're testing this weekend. I think they're in
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're testing, and the next weekend is the first race, and next weekend is also Jimmy's first ever oval race in the IndyCar series. So I'm going to watch that just to see how he handles going mock Jesus. Yeah. Oh boy, those were my exact. First time.
What oval was it on again?
I think it's Texas.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he should, as long as he can remember his lines from the cars.
Yeah,
he should be decent.
He should be okay. I mean, first time doing it, so you know the speed.
The only thing that would concern me is the. This is just being honest because of here in Michigan. The thing that would concern me is the speed differences between the Cup cars and the Indy cars. That would be the only thing that would concern me is running the same. If he ran the same lines, can he just going into it know the differences in speeds and braking that he would need to know?
Yep,
that's my only concern.
But I'm gonna watch. I mean, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna record. I'm gonna watch it somehow, no matter what the hell I'm doing, because I think next weekend.
If he can get his pressure applying right off the gate, just look out. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm just excited. Yeah, even if he's only in like around 10, 15.
Look out in the front.
It's his first time ever on an oval in one of those cars at that speed in competition. I mean, no matter what, him just getting.
Well, they probably won't get as fast at Texas though, as they did. Michigan, they went.
Well, there's a very
Michigan, they were moving.
There's a very fine difference between how fast usually those things are. But regardless, next weekend's a good weekend for racing, everybody. F1 finally starts their season way too early in the morning, because that's when all the races are on, way too early at the clock. And Jimmy makes his debut on an oval in the Indy Cars, which again, I'm recording it because I don't know. Last time I checked, like St. Patty's Day is on one day, and then the next day I'm going to a Steel Panther concert. Then the next day, I don't even remember what the hell I have planned, but I know someone told me I had something planned. Oh yeah, Crystal's going away party because they're moving, and like the next weekend. I'm just my DVR. I apologize to my DVR. You're gonna be busy.
I'm trying to get the answer to that question.
But we could finally now move on to the big thing at hand, which is the Xfinity Series and the United Rentals 200. Qualifying is at noon on Saturday, and the race is at 4:30. I'm excited just because, again, it's a different track type. It's a little,
Pheonix. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this one. Ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
My Xfinity run. My guys to look out for going off of history for active drivers. Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick, Brandon Jones, John Hunter Nemechek. I feel one of those guys, just going off of history, this track, their skills, those guys are the ones to watch. Now, personally, on top of John Hunter Nemechek, I also am going to say, go Ding.
Yeah.
I'm always going to push the Dinger.
Hey, my list, I got people, I mean, just from history and everything, it's the junior motorsports guys across the board because, they just have the power. And Josh Berry, Sam Mayer, Allgaier, Gregson, if he doesn't get himself wrecked, I mean, they're always good. I got Hemrick on there because, he proved to the world at that exact track last fall. Get the hell out of my way. Not today, Satan. I got Allmendinger on my list because, again, it's AJ. He has car. And I got Ty Gibbs. Because it's Ty Gibbs. And, let's just be honest here.
Active drivers currently in the Xfinity Series this season, he's won the most. Allgaier has at Pheonix. So I got to throw him and Daniel Hemrick and Brandon Jones out there because they've proven they're decent, if not good, at that track.
Again, I got Hemrick. I got Junior's boys because they've all proven how good they are, but especially Allgaier. He's on my list every track. Watch out for Allgaier everywhere you go. And he's not afraid to give you the bumper at a road course and be like, no, really, bye, see it. Get out of the way. And he's long overdue for a championship and all that, but he's always good. Again, so our list, just Ty Gibbs. That's I threw him on there just because it's Ty Gibbs. We all know he's going to be up there. The kid's talented. I mean, he's 12 years old, but
and also, at the same time, I say those things, but Now for Xfinity, this doesn't really matter as much, but like for Cup this year, it's a completely new car. Cup is going to be interesting at Pheonix.
Yeah, like that's what I've enjoyed about the season so far. You know, is like the car is like it's all brand new, like obviously, but like we're like, oh, look at all the teams that finished in the top 10 at Daytona. It's like, yeah, well, it's Daytona. Look at all the teams finished in the top 10 out at Auto Club, and then did it again. Like there's people are more competitive. Eric Jones would have been up there if he didn't, have that, tire go down. Shout out to Bubba for getting out, not T-boning him as he came across the track when he couldn't turn. And as we were laughing about, hit the pace car. Damn it, when he missed Eric Jones and went slide, he damn near took out the pace car. So, which would have been terrifying because that's no shit like a Camry street car. Like that's not meant to get hit going mock Jesus by one of those. But the new car is holding up better though. I'll give them that so far. Like people can actually door each other and not have to worry about exhaust cutting tires. And like even Bubba's car, after going that hard into, think of the car last year going that hard into like just the tires, the car would have been gone. Like it barely. So that's good. The new car, but I'm looking that's the race I'm looking forward to. Obviously the Xfinity race, but the Cup race, because like everyone's more competitive. A lot more people are in the mix, and we have no idea what the car is going to do on this type of track in the desert. And it's the first time we're doing it on the new thing. And I think Harvick's going for 18th straight top 10. They're trying to set a record. Yeah. Go get him, fella. I shouldn't have said it.
Yeah. But well, this is the track that's going to show if Harvick can come back and continue Harvicking or not. Because him, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Martin Truex, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Kurt Busch. If any one of those guys have their car, or more than one even, it's possible out of that list. If those guys have their cars on cue, look out. You're not going to catch them. Good luck. Because those are the guys that will win at this track if their car is on cue.
And a late shout out to Kyle Busch because he should as much as we trash Gibbs, shout out to all of them last weekend for literally having just the shell of a car for his backup after he wrecked with Hamlin's back window in it because they don't have enough parts for anything. And his backup didn't have a motor, seat, Hamlin's back glass, and they got it out there and he would have run the race if that caution didn't.
I don't know. I should have saved it. There was
I don't give everyone
speak online with all the different parts.
Yeah. It was just, you're still looking at it. What do you do? What we did what we did in Tank Battalion. What we just took. What give us everything you got now. So you literally took why is that on deadline? Not at liberty to say. Why? Because I'm not at liberty to say. Because we just stole everything from everything. Yeah. So shout out to them though. Before we get deep into the Cup Series race, like as much credit as we don't give Kyle or Gibbs and say that for them to literally take a shell of a car and have it literally should have won the race. Good on them, and good on Bowman for out drag racing Kyle Larson. But anyway, Pheonix, I think it'll be. I don't know what kind of racing to expect. Again, the new tire, new car. We haven't run anything yet, but I think it's going to be like good. I think it's.
I said it up in the air. Every race will. Even with like this track and that list of guys, knowing that every one of those guys I just listed are more than capable of winning at this track, it's all on the cars till race 8. Every race till race 8 is going to be all up to the cars because there's really not enough there.
Yeah. And we went from, again, I said all the time, we went from a quarter mile, 2.5 with the restrictor plate, to 2 miles out at Auto Club, 2-ish. Then we went to 1.5 miles on Vegas. Now we're down to a mile here at Pheonix. They won't know anything until against race 8, 10, maybe what people will start actually figuring out. And they don't have enough parts now to actually figure anything out, which is why people are literally sending empty shells of cars as their backup and just praying that they don't have to replace the whole thing. Build a whole car in 24 hours.
I think if if I were a car engineer or a crew chief in this race, in the past few races, I would be taking my notes from all races previous to this season on cars, then take my notes from the races that have already happened, compare the notes for each race that's already happened, and go, okay, so these numbers weren't close here, but these numbers, we can mimic it this and kind of get close. I would be doing that right now. I would have been doing that on Monday for
you see how good the engineers and the crew chiefs really are right now.
What?
You see how good the crew chiefs and the engineers and all those people, all the Rodney Childress.
Yeah, when you're getting kicked out for 4 or 6 races at a time, you're clearly not doing something right.
You get, but because they have to, again, compare notes from last year to this year just on those tracks to see what everything's changed and all. Like, let
me rephrase this. If your crew chief and driver gets in as much trouble, if not more, than Kevin Harvick and
Rodney's good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Rodney will put it directly. Rodney will put it
together
directly to the line. He hasn't crossed
the line. He'll stop at the line. Kevin, well, there's no fucking line.
He gets you to the line. Rodney, like, what? I will put you right borderline, illegal, but it'll only be borderline illegal.
And he's also really calm. But Kevin Harvick, anyways, what I was getting at is if
Rodney's Dale Jr.
outside of them two, if you're getting in more trouble than them two can, something's not good. Something is wrong. It is expected out of somebody like Kevin Harvick or Clint Boyer or Tony Stewart to throw things or break things. I mean, let's just be honest.
Hey, Clint only got angry once in his entire life, and he did a wind sprint. What do you know? Just a few short years ago at this exact racetrack. He's getting
2012.
He's getting out of his car. Yep, he's getting out of his car.
Yes. No, that was 12 or 14. I don't remember which one.
He's on pit road. Window net's coming down. Oh, he's pissed. And it's only there's Clint Boyer at a dead sprint going through
and then he walked back.
Hey, screw it. I'm already in trouble. I just parked.
I think that's his mentality. I'm already gonna get my butt handed to me, so forget it.
I already have to go to the big black trailer, so let's just Or he's probably winded as hell once the adrenaline wore. Like, now I know why I don't do that.
I'd like to have a conversation with Tony and Kevin, be like, so how many of your broken helmets equal a trip to the NASCAR trailer?
I'm sure Tony rented out space. Here's $1 million for the year. Why? Just because.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
I know where this is going. You're welcome. Covered. Done.
Honestly, if I were a team owner and I was Tony Stewart, I would be that team owner that would have $1 million on standby in a savings account somewhere, just for the simple fact that knowing, like myself, one of my drivers is probably going to cost me a fine or two.
Let's go to NASCAR at the beginning of the year. Well, here you go. What's that for? What?
I'm still going to owe you at the end of the year.
I don't know, but it's just trying to get ahead of it. You're welcome. Yeah, but I think the racing will still be good, though. And again, as long as we get to see, I enjoy seeing the Chastains and the Suarez's and Eric Jones up there actually competitive, and especially Eric Jones competitive while his bum of a teammate is running back in the 20s because he actually is terrible and sucks. And listen to Kevin Harvick's interview after he wrecked him at Martinsville a few years ago, and he'll tell you exactly how he feels about that spoon-fed, disrespectful, talentless, etc. Thank God I'm leaving the team. Okay, thanks.
People out of his mouth.
Thank God I'm leaving. But they wonder why I'm leaving.
Ever since, speaking of that topic, after all that went down and Mike Dillon, it was the off season of 2014 and 2015 after Kevin won his championship. They had the interview with him and Mike Dillon, and the conversation came up about his kids.
I'm just not going to go there.
Yeah. I find it funny that since then,
I love you.
Neither Dillon kid, for the most part, has ever really been brought up in conversation to Kevin Harvick. I think people realize real fast, real quick, how much of one, it was a mistake on Childress to do what he did, and two,
I still want to be friends, but I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only guy I still even like over there. So
I feel like Mike Dillon would be like Bill Elliott. If Chase Elliott went out there and did something and screwed up intentionally, like made a mistake that he knew was going to potentially cause problems, I have a feeling Bill Elliott would look right at his kid and say, "You're on your own, man. Whatever you get coming to you next week or the week after, that is on you."
Yeah. But God bless Kevin Harvick in that interview after that truck race. If you haven't seen it, you want to, this is one of the last times you got to see Harvick unfiltered. Go watch that, because he was
No, he was pretty close with that little stint with him and Chase Elliott last season.
Oh, yeah.
He was real close to coming unfiltered.
But him and Ty Dillon, I mean, he was tired of Childress. He was tired of the way Childress was going. He's tired of
Oh, yeah, that was a compound. Ty Dillon, as much as he made him mad, what he got was not just being mad at him.
That was compounding for years. It just went done with this shit. What, now you're bringing them in? Like, okay. What, watch? Mm-hmm. Hey,
and
he sucks.
You know,
and Ty's going to continue to suck. Wonder why? Because Ty is a talentless hack, which is why I think he won one Xfinity race ever, and you don't even realize he's on the track until he's getting lapped while his teammates leading laps.
He never raced in ARCA, did he?
I don't believe so. I know he raced in the trucks. I know you could say what he did in the Xfinity Series was racing, but I mean, he won like one.
Those
race.
Grassroots series
like
that NASCAR has running. You know what I'm talking about? Like the K&N Series and all that.
K&N East and West and all that. Yeah.
I think you should have to spend, as a NASCAR driver from here on out, one season in the K&N Series, one season in the ARCA Series at minimum before you can even think about going to the trucks. And the only reason I say that is that would start weaning the untalented Ty Dillons right the hell out of the picture.
Yeah, except when they do it, you have to go sign for a regular team. You can't go in there and be powered by Childress or Gibbs or anything. But you need to go in there and drive for a regular team. See, been doing this long enough.
No, I know that. And I'm agreeing with it, though.
I'm saying, like, go and drive for like a team, like what, and actually, but not the greatest equipment in the world. Don't go and, oh, well, Joe Gibbs is powering my ARCA team. Yes, great. So that's going to prove anything. Even idiots can win in that equipment.
That's what makes me think. Why do you think Brian Deegan never once built a team for Haley? Because one, he had the money to throw at it, or he has the money to throw at a massive team. He could if he wanted to.
He sure as hell better have the money. Otherwise,
his Metal Militia clothing line alone gives him the money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he doesn't have the money, me and him need to sit down and find me, Ryan. We'll have a heart-to-heart. I'll figure out your finances. Because if you can't start anything you want right now with the amount of money you're pulling in, fine.
But he never did for her. Never once did he do that for her once she left Supercross.
Yeah. And it's the way it should be. Now, if it was her, like, starting her own thing to do it, like, when Travis Pastrana left, that world and all that to go and try to be in the Truck Series and stuff and ran a few, like throw your own money at your own thing, like, whatever, waste your own, I was okay with that. Brought in his own money, his own sponsors. Like, if you're going to do that, you have to try, do it. But I mean, if you really want your kid to develop, and you're like doing it properly,
don't do it for him.
Well, make them go out there.
Or don't do it for your child, I should say, not him, because
do what Senior did for Junior. Make him earn it every step of the way. Never even race for years and years and didn't even watch Junior.
Well, and if you think about it, look how good Dale Senior was.
Yeah, and look
what help he did not get.
Yeah, look what Ralph did him. Ralph did him.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Ralph did nothing for him. I am not helping you.
Ralph did him properly. Like, that's my theory on it. Ralph did him right. Then he did make him earn it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was harder for them going that route because
you actually got to grind out. I mean, and you have to and you actually have to learn like every aspect of racing. If you do it, you got to figure out fabrication,
I
motors, transmissions, building things. You got like
the
ins and outs of the whole racing, money, transport. You literally have to figure out everything.
Exactly.
Figure it out. See you later. Bye.
If you pulled a Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace,
Austin has more talent.
Huh?
Austin has more talent.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, for me, personally, I look at those guys and I'm like,
hey, you went through the Dillons.
If it wasn't either for you being a woke obsession for NASCAR and you two just being, the grandchildren of somebody who has more than they should have because of one man and doesn't attribute it to that, you should. I'm sorry, but
Harvick did him good for a bunch of years, though.
No, Harvick does. I'm saying Childress, though.
No, I'm saying Harvick did Childress good.
The front of their building should be a 55-foot tall white 3 on a black building, period.
That's it.
Nothing else. And it should say the Earnhardt Industry or something. Richard Childress should be built and stabled for the rest of time to Dale Earnhardt Sr. Because if it wasn't for Dale,
he didn't have anything.
Childress would be
getting ready to close up
car salesman somewhere down south.
He was ready to close up until.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And then here it is, Austin Dillon and all of them riding on his fucking. Riding on his name.
At least Austin has talent, though, so I'll give him that. At least Austin has talent because Austin did go through, obviously Childress in the Xfinity Series. Just like his brother Ty did, and just like someone that won a championship for him, like Reddick.
He's got more airtime than my mom does.
I don't remember if it was Reddick who won, I don't remember if he won for Childress first and then Junior, or Junior and then went over to Childress, but he won 2 straight. He won a championship in it, though. For Childress in the last, Reddick won 1. Ty Dillon won a race. But I'm sorry, there's been a lot of winners through all the years.
Reddick won a lot.
I'm saying there's a lot of years there, and where they were all in the same stuff. Austin, good. Reddick, good. Ty. Sorry, but it's just that he got a ride because of who he is. That's why he has the ride on 42 right now, because Black Rifle will sponsor him. At least I could see Gregson because he has talent. He's checkers or wreckers, but Ty Dillon does not deserve to be
an example. Could you brought him up in reference to
if Newman doesn't have a ride, Ty shouldn't have the ride.
No, you're exactly right. Well, I was going to say, as you brought up Kevin doing good by senior, you look at that stuff, and we were talking about Deegan not sponsoring or building the teams for Haley. Doing it the way Brian did for Haley, her second year in the ARCA series, look who teamed up.
She looked great, too.
Huh?
She looked great, too.
That's what I'm saying. Her second season, Kevin and her started doing shit together, and then he's coaching. That's that right there embodies the full circle of how NASCAR should work. And it went from Dale Senior, Kevin ran under him, and I don't care what anyone says, he learned from Dale, period.
In the little bit of time they had together on Earth before everything happened, but no one was driving it for Childress in the lower series without Dale being Dale, regardless of if he had DEI, but he was still.
Well, as I'm saying, Childress rode on the back, literally, of Dale Senior. There's no way around that. I've had this argument with people. No, Richard Childress is garbage without the image of Dale Senior. Period. There wouldn't be no Richard Childress Incorporated.
They were going to be shut down, like he's admitted it. But that was
And the only reason I don't get nasty and haven't lost any faith in Richard Childress himself is because of his person. Richard Childress as a person is still a good human.
Yeah, he's a great
Look
human.
What he's doing for Ukraine.
Look, he's a great human. Look what he said when people were kneeling and all that. Well, anyone on my team can kneel for the national anthem. They won't. Then immediately give them a bus ticket and they can get the hell out of here. We don't need any of that disrespectful nonsense around here.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll even buy them a bus ticket and send their ass home, but they're leaving.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with his driver choices, but man, as a businessman and as a good human, he is there. I
think though, driver choices. He did good with Harvick. Harvick, having him come up right. Granted, who the hell is ready to take over for Dale Earnhardt, especially 10 minutes after he died on the track?
And how many could have took over and done what Kevin did.
And he did good. Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. I mean, Austin's done good. And, he's done good by Tyler Reddick, which means I guess he won for junior and then went over to Childress because then he went up to but he did good by Tyler Reddick. He got a good one there. It's just
another way
to
tie.
It's just tied. Like I'm sorry.
Prove your point and put those guys all in check.
Cut the cord.
Cut them off. They should. But to put your point into perspective, you look at let's talk about sponsors for Richard Childress. You go back, Dale Sr. passed away. He was driving, and his main sponsor was GM Goodwrench.
They stuck around
and they stuck around until who left?
Kev.
Thank you. If they stuck around because of Kevin Harvick and Kevin Harvick only, there's somebody seen just what everybody else like you and I have seen with Kevin. He was good. Really, really good. He was the only one for half the industry that could have truthfully probably filled the shoes of Dale Sr. because I wouldn't have wanted to fill his shoes.
You look back on it. I mean,
three lace. Sorry, I'm getting excited.
He was young, angry, and he had a set of balls to go with his talent. He was all screw what he grabbed. Here's what you got to do. But this is the shittiest hand you could be given in auto racing. What? Dale Sr. just died last lap, Daytona 500. What?
You're driving for next
week. You're promoted. See you in 2. Excuse me. What? So he got dealt the shittiest hand.
But look, he came in
and look what he did with it.
In three races, he won.
And one of the best finishes in NASCAR history. I mean,
to this day,
in our defense
at that track, what's he do? The whole way.
Even
if there's no fans to see him doing it. The whole way.
In his defense, though, I mean, he came in 3 races. I mean, it was Atlanta before they went and it all up and
Dude,
it was Atlanta, but he was the right guy he was the right person in the most up situation there could be, but he was the perfect fit for just his character and how he is as a person and where he is upstairs. He was the perfect fit for the worst situation in NASCAR history, really. I mean,
and it's like you just said, if you think about it, if you go back to that month out of NASCAR, who could Richard Childress truthfully have picked better than him?
I mean, him really.
Who was racing that at that moment that they could have picked and said
the only option I could think of would have been Hornaday in the trucks.
I didn't think of that. Ron could have done it. Yeah, Ron.
But him and Ron
been the same. Pretty good friends.
Yeah, would it have? Yeah, how it would have worked out? Who knows? But Ron Hornaday, where he was at that point, he was. I think that just to fill in,
you weren't getting Mark Martin. I mean, there was no way.
Everyone else was signed and stuff. I mean, and Hornaday was still in the family there with the Earnhardt children. He was still it sounds like a crime family, but it might as well have been back then. He was still in the family. So he could have done it. Would he have done it as well? I don't know, but because we saw him, go over to Cup later and it didn't really work. But again, for that situation, I mean, it was either going to be Kevin, you're promoted, or Ron, you're promoted, because they were the only 2 in the family, and they were in the family. Senior had them and wanted them in the family. So those were the only 2. No one thinks of Hornaday again. And we all remember his Cup run. It wasn't the greatest, but that was the only other option. But I mean, for what they had and what they were doing going forward, he had the young, he was young and he was pissed off. And he knew how to drive. So, I mean, it was the perfect segue, and what he's turned it into since he left there. I mean, look at him, what he did with, Stewart right out the gate. He went from being the closer and getting a race or 2 to saying, well, driving around the track with his middle fingers extended. And it was a good, I think the last 3 years at Childress, I mean, he was in the contract, so he couldn't go anywhere. And I think you felt that on the track. You could tell, he was, because look at him, the second he was free.
Gone.
I mean, but this weekend, we'll know.
Still, even all the way up until 2020, you didn't see very many drivers at once. How many drivers did you ever hear almost every single season, more than half the races, drivers go, you don't want Kevin in the front. Kevin gets to the front, it's over. He's gone. Don't let Kevin get to the front. I've heard that so many times, it ain't even funny. Okay. If Harvick gets to the front, he's gone. Don't let him to the front.
And regardless of the aero packages that they've had, I mean, he's driven away from people with the good, bad, and indifferent aero packages. Kind of like Kyle Larson last year. The only time anyone beat Kyle is because of the stupid aero package. Like, let's go back to the Southern 500. I was there. And when everyone saw the weirdo with the mohawk and the fuzzy vet and the furry hairy, like, I was right next to that guy. So he was walking up the ramp, and it was like that. Like, Kyle got the lead at the Southern 500. He just see you later, bye. But when he got to second, because the aero package, he couldn't catch anybody. Like, he got to a certain point and just stayed there the rest of it. When he got out front, he checked out by 2 seconds. He was just see you later, bye. He was in a different world. And that was Kevin, let's say when he first got to Stewart Haas, I'd say the year after, and then 2020. Like, I mean, he was always really good, but those first 2 years, like, they were really, really odd. Like,
take last year out of the picture.
Yeah, 2020.
He
like,
never really
last 4 races
in less than 3.
2020 until the last 3 or 4 races, like, him and Denny were on a whole different, like, planet. Just like the first 2 years when he was there.
So 2 things that just came to my mind. One, I really think a smart thing to do when Kevin retires, if he was to hold out till then to start anything, would be him and Boyer to come together and start a team.
Yeah, I mean, and really,
or at least get Boyer to buy into Stewart Haas.
Yeah. I think, I mean, that would help. Obviously, I mean, he's making good money on Fox.
I know, but I'm saying,
like, so he has the money, or
you can't take Clint Boyer out of the picture. Clint Boyer is too good to not have him.
Clint in there, or maybe those two get together. I mean, we were just talking about not buying your kid a team, but I mean,
I wasn't necessarily saying for his,
I'm saying, like,
kid.
But the two kids, like the kid, I'm just saying, like, they start like a whole entire thing for, the minis and like everything, just because your kids, like, you're buying what your kid already has go-karts you paid for. I mean, like, let them go out there and, and
it's not like Keelan isn't good. He's
Keelan, like, he's
really good, minus getting that wreck and breaking his arms.
He's running iRacing events for his dad. Like, Keelan, like,
well, you do when they were doing the iRacing series.
That's what I'm
Haven't
saying.
Even said, no, he's better.
Yeah, well, Keelan's got I drive the real car. What? Keelan's definitely.
But Keelan is good.
Keelan's great. Like, and again, he already like have his go-karts, and they're teaching him there at the house, and trying, like, so if those two started something like that, but
fuck it.
But let other people do that. For them. But let other don't because your kids are obviously going to be the guys, but it's like Stewart Haas. I mean, like, but just start something. And again, once their kids move on,
ultimately they don't even have to go into to the big 3. They could just stay in ARCA, series, and then mini and micro stuff.
And once their kids like move on, like, they can let them move on, and they could work for.
It could be a stepping stone for Ford.
Yeah. They could start. They can make them run there and then get a ride somewhere, like, not pay for the ride, but have them so they can earn a ride no matter where it is in the ARCA series. Spend a couple of years there, move their like K&Ns to ARCA, like but they could start out and have a really good grassroots things with them, because. I mean,
it's not like they wouldn't have the money.
We said don't buy your kids, a team. He did it right, but those two already bought their kids. Like, hey, guess what? Ryan Deegan was right there with Haley until it got to a certain point. And then it's go figure it out. And honestly, guess what? She gets better the second year, no matter what she runs in. Since she's, she has Monster to help, but it's not like she's driving like superior equipment in our or the trucks. Like, but she has the sponsor to get her a ride. And every time the second year, she's vastly improved.
She's got. Look who they sponsor,
and they're never letting her go. They're never letting her go.
And as long as she continues her learning, that's all they want, dude. She can learn and only win 1 race a season until she gets into the really, really big series. And Monster will not drop her because she's too good.
Yeah.
And then you got Kurt Busch is sponsored by them. There's a reason he's held on to that sponsor everywhere he goes. He's good, and they don't.
Yes,
they don't quit on their drivers.
He has to thank his brother for that one, though. There's another shout out to Kyle, because Kyle, when he had the 54, was still KBM before he shut it down and gave it back to Gibbs. He had Monster. Kurt went in there when he was having his bad year after he told everyone to go off and cussed out the whole planet and had all those issues. And he went in there and let's just say when he had that year of just dear God. And
that was when Penske was trying to kick him out of NASCAR.
And after he drove, for that few races he drove for his brother for Monster has had his back literally ever since then. No matter what team he's been with, they have stuck with him, and they're very loyal. And they were still sponsoring him while they were like wherever he went. Well, they were still the major sponsor for the Cup Series before they switched off from because NASCAR, I do agree with the different business model, like do it like other sporting teams like the NHL, have different sponsors to do everything. So it's not just so you can bring in more people to be the title sponsor. Like I get that, but Monster's been right there with them. They've been with Haley. They stuck around for Kyle, and when Kyle was done, he just drove, and it wasn't KBM anymore. They stuck around and kept driving. They kept sponsoring the 54 car in the Xfinity Series, no matter who the hell drove it, and they are violently loyal.
Yeah, people. I really do think though, like if those two were to start a team, and the other thing is if they started a team and they didn't bring their kids in the picture, right off the gate, because it's Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick, I'm almost confident and it's safe to say that they'd only have to approach it one time to Mobile and be like, look, this is what we're thinking about doing. Are you interested? And I almost feel like Mobile will be like, yeah, we'll walk on board to that.
And Bush.
Because I know, that too. But the reason I said both of them in Mobile is because Mobile loves to sponsor those two. Let's just, you can't everything.
The only other thing that loved to sponsor Boyer more was Rush.
Well, but my thing of it is Clint Boyer's made Rush money. I mean, he's won races with them as his sponsor. So it's not like he doesn't do anything for them. He's done stuff for them. So I just feel like there's certain ways that them two could start a team and right off the gate have decent sponsorship money coming in and really provide a good stepping stone for Ford to go, look, we have nothing lower than NASCAR. Let's do something. Let's start a performance racing program that they literally can develop in. Start at the grassroots level and come up through these guys. Because Tony Stewart, who's he get to pick from? Who's he picking from in his developmental program outside? The only one lower than NASCAR that has Ford as a sponsor and they're part of the development program is
talking like
what the hell's his name? The guy that was racing with Kyle Larson all the time. He's a really big, he's an older dude.
I could see his face.
He races with he's raced with BJ McLeod.
Yeah.
Anyways, he is really good. And the drivers that come through him, because he owns his own mini sprint or his own sprint teams, he's got like 5 or 6 different cars running. He's the only one. He's the only Ford developmental driver outside of NASCAR for NASCAR developmental program.
Yeah. And if you look at the Xfinity Series, look at the Fords in the Xfinity Series. I mean, they might as well not be there. I think they got Riley Herbst.
Well, the reason I have a problem with it is because look what Toyota's doing. Toyota stepped into that, Steve. I mean,
Penske's like gone, aren't they? In the Xfinity Series, I don't think they've. Yeah. Cindric moved on, and they were like, dude. You got Riley. And there's like 2 or 3 of them, but there's almost nobody in the Xfinity Series that actually.
Penske. No, Penske still got one.
They have one. Who the hell's driving?
One, I think, still. But it's only one because it was there's no. It was the car that Cindric was in.
I know. I don't know. Couldn't tell you who's driving it. They're not doing good. They're not doing good because I can't tell you.
No, they're not.
They have no one. So I agree that we should have. And there's a lot of Fords in the Truck Series. It's just it's Cup, trucks, nothing.
Yeah.
And those two, I mean, even if they don't let their kids drive, but let their kids have more than cash.
Well, I mean, if their kids did go drive for them,
have more than earned a ride somewhere just off of being sheer psychopaths alone. But start something down there. I mean, and they'll make the money hand over fist because they have sponsors that will be there with them the whole time.
And the other part with Keelan, that this is the reason why I say he will, no matter what, do good in racing.
He terrifies
is because after he broke his arm while they were in the hospital, he says, I think I'll still be able to drive a car next weekend.
I don't think I'll be
that young in the hospital, just broke your arm, got a cast on. You're trying to figure out how to use your arm even.
But I'll be there.
Well, I think I'll be good to race next weekend. Okay, that right there shows me, one, you're just like your dad. You'll race broke.
There's
Two,
your dad. There's your dad going. Explain this to your mother.
Yeah, he probably is.
Damn it! Well, don't say that to your mother. Why?
That will not end well.
We don't need to die today. But yeah, it helps.
Well, he said though on that before they started back up in 2020 in person, he did say then that there was already a couple of times where Delena's like, I don't know about this. That tells me Keelan is too good and too much like his dad already. And she's like, I don't know about where this is going. She's like,
Like, I've seen this somewhere before. Yeah, fine. What? It's normal. But yeah, we'll see what comes of it all. I do agree they need more because no offense to Riley Herbst, but you need more than one to develop. The Truck Series has, more of it. If they started something, that'd be great. But even if they just put money into something to help, someone, there's a silent partner somewhere to expand to get more people because there's not enough. I mean,
no offense to Xfinity. Chase Briscoe, that was a sheer luck of the draw that Tony Stewart even came upon him. That was a phone call that happened because, hey, we got this guy that's really good at sprints, man. He always hang around the shop. Next thing you know, hey, you want to go for a couple of races? Boom. Look where he's at now, 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah, like he's a freak.
But he's good. He's good. He hasn't lost his talent along that fast track route.
And, he wasn't the best last year. But Stuart Haas wasn't, no offense to them. The last 4 races of 2020 through last year, there was just something off. When Eric Almirola is the only guy that wins a race, no offense to Eric Almirola, something is.
Well, I did say
strange things are afoot.
I really am confused because
Almirola looked great. He still looks good this year.
Tim Fedewa's family.
Tim Fedewa like, guess what? If you guys haven't ever seen him race, go back and watch the old Busch series. What that guy could get
his whole family
car and go. Yeah, that guy was good for.
Yeah, remember his family raced with my grandpa here in Jackson.
Anyone that's underappreciative, what that guy, that man could race back in the hip.
Well,
Corey LaJoie's dad, Randy.
And anyone that's got a brain can draw the conclusion of how good let's
not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, anyone that's got a brain,
a function that
can think it through.
Yeah. Anyone that has a brain that can critically think.
When Kevin talks to Rodney Childress, he gets ornery with him. He does not get ornery with Tim Fedewa. No. And there's a reason, because Tim Fedewa will come right back on the radio because I've heard it.
Yeah, and that's another good thing they have there. Like, there's all that.
And that's the other reason why I think they ought to have developmental programs, because sometimes people are better at other jobs, whether they want to admit it or not, than they are at driving. I'll be honest, if I was going to drive in NASCAR and I got to choose my spotter, I'm going to be like, I'll take Timmy all day, every day.
Yeah. Like Tab's a good one. That was Logano's forever.
What's the name of
Junior's cousin?
The guy that's doing
Junior's cousin. What's his name? TJ Majors, right? Yeah.
That guy, no.
That was Junior's cousin. No,
Gustafson.
Now Gustafson's with
not Alan Gustafson. Yeah, it is.
Alan Gustafson. He's with Chase.
Yeah, Chase is what I meant to say. Chase. Did I say Kyle, didn't I?
Yeah, I can see Kyle's spot. I can see his face. I can't tell you his name right now.
Well, Chase and Alan's a good example, okay? Him and Busch did decent together. Really decent. I'm going to admit that openly.
Yeah.
And this is where the respect thing comes into play for guys like him and Tim Fedewa. When all that shit went down last year between Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, I'm going to tell you right now, because he was sitting next to him when it was getting ready to happen, if it wouldn't have been for Alan Gustafson, when Kyle Busch got out of that car, he would have been going to the hospital, because the Jack dude, which is 5 times bigger than me, was ready to hurt him.
Hey,
he was there shit was undone, down and tied. He was ready to fight.
I will give. I will give.
And Allen talked him out of it, and he walked away.
I still respect that whole thing. Like, no way. I mean, Kyle's Kyle, but Kyle's never really gone out of his way to wreck anyone intentionally. I mean, he just, hey, your spotter says clear. What you got? What I think he says it, and
but that's what I'm saying. Allen wanted to hear what his mouth had to say before he let his jack guy come on in.
That got and again, that's why I don't. We're all over the place. That got to give Kyle more credit for.
And all your viewers have to go back and watch any race, just one. I have to say, just one with Tim Fedewa. Just one.
Yeah, go back. Him and Corey LaJoy's dad, Randy. They used to battle in the Bush.
Exactly.
Series.
That was back when Bush was worth something. The Bush Series was worth something.
Like, it was good. It had its bad years, but I think it's had an influx the last couple of years. I mean, with Dinger back in. I'm saying, no, there were some down years. Like, it was worth something back then. Exactly. There were down years. There's no offense, but we were pulling up like one guy every year. Like, that. Look at how we had Dinger, Gregson, Cindric, Hemrick, Briscoe. I mean, those guys were beating the tar out of each other.
Exactly. And I wish the Bush
the talent is back up. Xfinity, they're right.
Xfinity Series. I wish Xfinity Series does, in as far as planning, organizing, and promotional, and just outright organizational levels. I wish they would get back to that Bush Series mentality, because years ago, drivers from the Cup Series would jump at the bit to go down and race a Bush weekend, because they loved racing the Bush Series, because it was more home feeling, it was more down roots. The guys from that series just wanted to race. That it was just a different mentality 25, 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
I will say a lot of that's just the sport though now too. Like the generation, the generation while we were growing up, like they wanted to go. Like, that mentality compared to like today's drivers' mentality is like, and no offense, all the old guys like no offense to Kevin Kevin. I guess Denny counts too, but no offense, and Kyle, but Kurt.
Well, look at the cars they drove back in the 90s, okay?
Yeah, it's different. Like, it's a different breed of people nowadays. There's
exactly.
very few people that want to go out and race every day. Like, there's very few Kyle Larsons and them that want to just go out and go. And then you got
like that.
Yeah, the people that would like Kevin, like he's got his like, but he's got the family. He's doing stuff with Keelan. Like, it's a whole different, like all the guys that would do it.
You don't walk away from racing.
But all the guys that would do it, a lot of them have other responsibilities, and and are getting their kids racing.
Because I used to remember seeing guys like Kenny Schrader and Todd Bodine, Sterling Martin. I used to remember when those guys,
the Fishman,
to race the Bush race at Michigan.
I remember when
they would jump down, run that race.
I remember when Sterling Marlin lost to Daytona 500 because he jumped out of his car and pulled out a fender like a idiot, which did nothing. But you touch your car under red flag and you lost Daytona 500. Where's your career been since then? Even though I heard he almost died, so I'm glad he's with a lot.
He's doing better.
Before. Yeah, he was close. So still love you, Fishman. You'll never hear this, but thank you for the memories in that Kodak car, and why ever you decide to pull your fender out in the Coors Light car. I still have no idea. And the IROC series. Remember IROC?
Yeah, but IROC you'll always remember the silver bullet.
Nope. I'll remember it for that. I will not remember it for anything else, because I never had to deal with silver bullet. Take that, Marine Corps. I was dying for too long before anyone got me to a medical anything for them to be able to give me a silver bullet. What are you doing? Vomiting for 45 minutes. Yep. Now, okay, it's been too long. Like, none of your organs are responding. Like, but I don't have to get silver bullet. Nope. I was like the baby in the memes. I love those memes. And the IROC series, I thought that was always a good thing.
You can leave that era and that division to Tony Stewart.
It was just a different mentality. Like, literally, the IROC series, like, That was a different, like the whole thing. That just proves it was a different mentality. It's not even like the IROC series was running every weekend. It cost like they were just going to Cup race weekends.
Yeah, but look how many.
Daytona, like,
let's talk about the IROC here since you brought it up. Because
it was a great series. Most people probably don't even know what I'm talking about right now.
The SRX series are literally some of the greatest things since sliced bread.
Yeah, and they probably don't. Which, by the way, sliced bread was the greatest thing since Betty White. Tragic loss, but Betty White was older than actually mass-produced white bread. So, and color TV. And Betty White was a god. But
exactly.
I put a lot of comparisons to it because you would get, like, I think SRX, because of
how many times
running it?
Andretti, Paul Tracy, Tony Stewart. Marco Andretti, Paul Tracy, Tony Stewart. Those three alone, it's like,
yeah, I'm saying, like,
this is three different worlds right here.
Comparatively, again, we're in a different world now, and there's different people, running like Brain's running it with Evernham and Tony. No matter what, those are great racing minds.
Michael,
no matter what,
Michael run that race. He's like, okay, these guys are way too aggressive at these local tracks.
No matter what you think about them, like those were, I just did that. Good job, Jesse. But like the difference between them, it's just obvious. But like I think SRX is better overall just because it's more inclusive to, like, literally the IROC series, junior, senior, Gordon. It was a very small, like, niche of, like, SRX has people from local, like, all over the place, just ready, steady, go. And I think that's better for the racing world just because the opportunities and the different minds that get to play it. Again, it's a whole different ball game nowadays.
Well, and it is, because you look at
the racing world. Back when IROC was a thing, it was a way different world than it is right now. And SRX even has a video game. Which
there's not very many things about racing since Dale Sr. passed away, but this is one of the few things I can say. If he was alive right now, he'd be like, that was a good idea.
You're like, what? I'm in. Where do I get one of them cars? There'd be Tony going, like, got one in the garage.
You can go race against the local home track hero and see if you can take his spot. Good luck.
He can go wreck his ass. Get Newman.
I don't know, dude.
Newman has a car.
Guys.
I just love the idea of Newman with those guys. I'll let Newman start first. We will see how good the local. See if he can get by Newman.
I want to see him and Paul Tracy race against each other.
If he can get by Newman, this is a sign of he's okay, not a white supremacy thing that everyone talks about. If you can get by Newman,
you're doing good.
You might be onto something, my friend.
That should be a race goal of Tony Stewart needs to do a race, and that should be the only goal. Good luck try passing Ryan Newman.
Newman starting first.
You win.
Newman starting first. We don't care. He's getting a head start, so he could beat catch him and go.
Catch him and pass. Good luck. First one to pass him wins.
If you can get by Newman without wrecking him, you might be onto something, fellow.
I wouldn't want to have to do that. That is a task that I bet you even Kurt Busch and Kevin Hart would be like, look, that's a daunting task. I want no part in.
I bet you Ryan Blaney wants be nowhere near Ryan Newman anymore after that whole Daytona thing. But passive, but he will die. Newman would rather die than let you buy him. And then he almost died. He comes back, and what does he do? His bumper's still this wide. Car's this big? His bumpers. But SRX is a great thing. It's starting here in a few months, isn't it? Like the second season should be coming up. Like that'll be that'll be another great thing. That'd be like, I'm sorry, no matter what anyone says, except for NHRA, sorry. Drag racing, it's exciting for about 3 seconds, but I prefer dirt racing and local tracks and just NASCAR, F1, Indy Car, SRX. I like things like that. Actually, I'm drag racing. It's exciting. It's just not what I'm gonna watch on TV.
All right, I hate to do this.
Like I said, I got things to do. But final thoughts, I'd say watch out for Kevin, and we'll know how good a lot of people are this weekend. But we're not actually going to learn anything for another couple of weeks.
Yeah,
the car is too new and no one knows anything.
Exactly.
Yet. But it was fun. Don't forget, share it out, like it, comment, tell us what you think. Follow all the platforms. Please share it out. We're doing good. Enjoy your weekends, and I'll be back on Monday to let everyone know what I thought about all this nonsense. Hopefully, so enjoy your weekend. Be good to each other. Peace.